Hello, this is Mike Van Meter. Welcome to the Recovery is Possible podcast. I want to thank you for joining me. You can reach us at our Facebook site, which is also called Recovery is Possible, or our website, which is vanmeterwellnesssolutions.com. This podcast exists to educate the public about addiction, remove the stigma associated with addiction, and offer help and support to those suffering from addiction. And so today we have a guest all the way from Scotland. Well, I say all the way from Scotland. I'm here on the East Coast of the United States, and Eilidh, our guest, is in Scotland. And so we haven't actually traveled there to meet with her, but we'll meet someday, I'm sure. But Eilidh is a member of a group that we've talked about in previous podcasts called Recovery Dundee. And Recovery Dundee is doing some fantastic work over there in specifically in Dundee, but UK wide, United Kingdom wide, to educate people about addiction and, most importantly, support people who are in addiction, the people that need that help and support post treatment, or even during treatment for that matter. And so Eilidh is a member of Recovery Dundee, and she's going to talk to us a bit about her story, where she was, how she got started into this whole addiction realm, what life was like, what happened to her, and why are we here to talk about this today? What brings Eilidh here? So I'm just going to refer to her as Eilidh. She's just to protect her anonymity. We're not going to use her last name today, but we'll let her talk about that. And so, Eilidh, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
For inviting me.
So, Eilidh, you're a member of. Maybe we can start with this. So, tell us a little bit about Recovery Dundee. What you know about Recovery Dundee, and then kind of talk about how you came into contact with Recovery Dundee, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about your story. How's that? So, what is Recovery Dundee?
Well, there's a support group for people with addictions. They're there for they've got knowledge because they've been in addiction themselves, and they're in recovery. So they're just helping you get through that recovery process.
And this is a private organization, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Independent.
I should say, independent organization, and so they're part of the community. And would you say that Recovery Dundee is now the primary source of your support in recovery?
Well, I'm with the NHS part of that as well, but so Recovery Dundee is the main backbone of my recovery. It has been, I would say.
Yeah, so they give you that day-to-day support and help you along.
Yeah, well, they're there at the weekends, which is when you need them, night times, and they're not a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. So
yeah, is that your experience with the NHS?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can you let's go back to the beginning. And I understand that your presenting issue, or your drug of choice, if you will, is heroin, correct?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was, because my understanding is you're on a methadone treatment program now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that start with you? Let's go back to the beginning. Can you walk us through? How did you even come into contact with heroin? How did that start?
Well, it was basically used for pain medication due to menstrual cycle, extremely painful bouts of that, and I'd been given morphine injections prior to that from the doctors. So, and then when it was around that, it was always been around. People around me were using it. So I knew that morphine worked, and diamorphine's heroin. So it just sort of, I wouldn't say a natural step, but it was a natural progression to that.
Yeah. So you were having these menstrual pains, and so you went to the doctor, I'm assuming, at some point, and they gave you morphine, and that was the treatment for the menstrual pains?
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
So they were giving it, and that would be prescribed. And at some point, we went. So how did you go from the prescribed morphine then to heroin? Did they just stop giving you the morphine, or just being around people? How did we make that transition?
Well, it was just basically like the person I was seeing at that time. They were using it. People around me were using it, and at that point I was in pain. It's the weekend, couldn't get hold of a doctor, so I used the heroin, and it helped my pain immensely.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of self-medicated after that.
So it just became sort of easier to get because of the people that you're around and your partner at the time?
Yeah, it was there, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was there, and so your partner at the time was a heroin addict. Would you say he was an addict?
Just sort of starting to use it that time. So we both sort of started to use it, but at the same time, he was first, and then a few months down the line, I sort of progressed to that.
Yeah, yeah. And so then you both progressed to it being, was it a daily? There was a daily usage?
No, I started off like at the weekend. Well, started off when I had pain, and then it'd be at the weekend, then it'd be twice in that weekend, then it'd be during the week. And then it just gradually got more and more.
Yeah, it's the progression. It's the progression of addiction. Yeah,
it just comes and hits you. You don't even realize it.
Yeah, it kind of sneaks up on you. So and then at some point you went from using the morphine that was being given to you through the hospital to at some point you just switched to just using a heroin itself on the street.
Yeah, well, I couldn't really get anywhere with any of the doctors. I could get that support that I was needing. So yeah, I've just fell into addiction that way.
Yeah, yeah. So did you at some point? Was the NHS? Did they become aware of your addiction? Did you talk to them about that, or did you just kind of slip away from them?
Nobody knew about my addiction for years. I had a 23-year addiction, and it wasn't until like the last 6-7 years that my family and that actually found out about it.
5 or 6 years. Okay. So did they not notice? They didn't notice that you had this addiction?
No, not really, because I could really cut myself off, and you only see them like at funerals, birthday parties. That was it.
Yeah. And they never noticed, because were you having health issues during this time?
Yeah, well, manic depression. So yeah, they did think there is something wrong, but they thought it was just due to my depression.
Yeah.
Not eating, losing weight that way, sleeping all the time.
Yeah, and so were you able to work during this period?
At the start, I was in work, yeah.
But I would assume that started affecting your job.
Yeah, I was at university as well, and I ended up stopping that course after the first year. So
right,
yeah, it does affect everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. And so your family had noticed the weight loss and the other things, and so it sounds like they just attributed that to your depression. They just thought that's what was causing it. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
They've never really got into it with me. So.
Was your partner also working at the time?
No.
So this was affecting his ability to work as well.
He actually went on selling heroin, so that's why it was around a lot more easier. Right.
And so that was affecting his ability to work as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So it progressed over time, and this was you said 20 years or a little bit over 20 years?
23 years, yeah.
23 years. So at a point, it seems to me that with addiction, whether it's alcohol or drug addiction, there comes that sort of that day of reckoning where we have to make a decision. We know that we're either going to keep going down that hole and die because that's the progression of addiction, or we're going to eventually get well. And it sounds like, well, you're here talking to me today. So it sounds to me like at some point you made that decision to get help. So let's just start with, when did you know something had to be done? And then what did you do at that point?
Well, over the years, there have been numerous times that I've tried to come off the heroin myself, but with having a partner in addiction as well, that's a codependency. It was a lot harder. It's like you feed off each other, and I don't know, it's just a lot more difficult. I went into treatment a couple of years before he passed away, and it was a horrendous experience I had with the services, the addiction services here.
So he knew that you went into treatment, right?
Yeah.
Now, did the rest of your family know this?
Yeah, my mum and that, yeah.
Okay. Were they all supportive of you going into treatment? How did they look at that?
Well, they knew it was a better option than getting this drugs off the street. So I think they saw it as a path to getting better, if you like. But as my mum since found out, that's a whole different story, but it's a different reality when you're actually in that.
Mm-hmm. So you went, and so treatment, when you say you got treatment this is through the NHS, correct?
Yeah.
Is that residential? Do you live there, or is this like an outpatient treatment?
It's an outpatient.
Okay. Do they do inpatient treatment?
No.
Oh, there's no inpatient treatment there in Scotland?
Not through the NHS, no.
Oh, but you can do it privately.
Yeah, thousands of pounds worth, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's very, very expensive, but you can do it. You can do it privately. So you've never been to residential treatment then?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to see the differences between how treatment is conducted, here in the United States and over there. It's just, it's just very, very, very different sort of process over there. And so when you went into treatment, how was that handled? I mean, did you go through a detox period? Did you, what's the plan when you go in and you say, look, because I'm assuming you told them that you were addicted to heroin, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so what's the plan from there?
Well, I had to go to a place called Ad Action, and you have to fill it like drug diaries and go and speak to them once a week for, I think it was about 5-6 months before I actually got into the drug treatment and on methadone the first time. 5 or 6 months? It's a long process.
Wow.
It's shortened now, but at that time it was a long. It's hard to keep yourself in that goal if it's that space of time from when you say I need treatment until you actually got the treatment. It was a long time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is a long time. So 5 or 6 months to get to the point where you're. Let me ask you this: when you went and talked to the NHS, when you first went to went through this process, were you being honest with them about your usage, or were you downplaying it?
No, I was honest because I did want to come off heroin at that point. So I was trying to do everything to get from A to B onto methadone to get off the street drugs.
Yeah.
But it just didn't seem, whatever I was doing, it didn't get to that point for a good time. Yeah, and they took 5 or 6 months, and so you finally get there, and their answer is to put you on methadone, which is common. That's a pretty common
withdrawal treatment for heroin. But so they put you on heroin, or I mean on methadone. Did you stop using heroin, or were you mixing the two at that point?
At the start, I was just on the methadone, and then because it's around me again, it's like my partner, he never stopped selling it, so there's always that trap of, oh, I'll just do that once, and then so yeah, and then my methadone kept getting put up and up. So it was just like a vicious cycle at that point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so you started doing that, but at some point, you stopped using heroin, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So when did you get to that point where you finally came off of heroin and where it was just straight methadone?
They gave me an ultimatum that I had a month to give them so many clean urine samples. So from that point on, I didn't take heroin.
Okay.
And for that month, I gave 4 clean urine samples. So until the final pain, again, back to pain relief. And when I took paracetamol and codeine, because codeine showed up, they class it as an opiate again. So that's when I was removed from the services, as it's called there.
So when you say removed from the services, did they refer you off to anybody else, or were you just cut loose?
I was just cut loose.
Okay.
I was told to go and get myself a heroin habit again and come back.
Wait, let me understand. They told you go back and go back to heroin and then come back?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. So kick you back out to get the heroin. And was there any referral to any other service or any other organization to help you?
No, because the like counselling and all that's meant to be done in-house in that treatment place. And so if you're cut loose from that, you're cut loose from everything.
And this, educate me on this, and maybe you can help the audience with this as well. So, are there private drug and alcohol counselors in Scotland that are not associated with the NHS?
Yeah, there'll be private ones, yeah.
But you have to pay for them out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
There's no insurance coverage that covers that or anything like that?
No, there's no such thing as insurance here.
Okay. And again, it just for me and for our listeners, that's just to kind of understand, because I know people listening might be thinking, well, why didn't you just go into a private treatment center or go see a doctor on your own? But what you're saying is, or at least what I'm hearing, is that the way that we would think of that doesn't exist in Scotland, is what you're saying.
No. Yeah, no.
So you pretty much have to work with the NHS or go into a private treatment center, but you're going to be paying out of pocket for that.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, so I'm taking it at some point. So you went back to so when they kicked you out of the service and they said go get another habit and come back. Did you do that, or did you get clean? What was the next stage after that?
Oh, I was back in a heroin habit, the heroin hell for 3 years after that again.
Yeah.
Because I didn't trust to go back to having that, let them have that control over me again.
Right. And then, so 3 years, and then at some point, well, we're here talking to you today, so we know that it's a good ending to that story. But you came back at some point. What happened in those 3 years? That 3 year, and I like how you say that it was a 3-year heroin hell, because that's exactly what addiction is. It's isolation. It's hellish. It's just horrible. And you went through that again, and you're lucky to have survived that. But what caused you to come back? What led to that?
I've always tried to get out of the addiction. So, but then my husband passed away, and that still sort of took me another 18 months to go back to the treatment again. I needed to change my life. I couldn't keep doing it anymore.
Yeah. And you had other things to live for. So your husband passed away, and did his addiction, was it caused by the addiction, or did that contribute to it? Do you know?
It was a contributing factor. Yeah, it was lung cancer. So yeah, it would have been a contributing factor to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I understand the method of using heroin was smoking it, correct?
Yeah, we didn't use needles. It was just smoked.
Just smoked
on
it,
the
yeah.
tinfoil, yeah.
So that probably did contribute to the lung cancer, and I'm really sorry to hear about that. But that had an effect on you, and I know you have a son, correct?
Yeah, a 20-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, so you're probably thinking, I got to do something about this, and so then you went back to the NHS. Was that the next step?
Yeah. But this time, I had Recovery Dundee with me, so it was a totally different experience.
Okay, good. So you went back to the NHS. So it's the same NHS that you were dealing with before, but now what you've added into that mix is Recovery Dundee, and very different experience this time, correct?
Yeah. I didn't have to wait the 5-6 months. It was like 4 or 5 weeks till I actually got back from first interview to put to the treatment centre, and then set out a plan. So I would use methadone for a short term instead of this long term, never ending story with methadone.
So that was Recovery Dundee that helped you develop that plan?
Yeah, her and them and my key worker and my mum.
And your key worker is with the NHS?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, so now you've developed more of a structured plan, maybe talking about tapering off of methadone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Instead
good. Because help me understand this: is the NHS, do they? So their use of methadone, which again is very common to use methadone to get off of heroin, but is there discussions? How do they handle the taper period? Because at some point I'm assuming you want to get off of methadone. What is the plan? What's the outlook on that? What's the plan to get off of methadone?
Well, I haven't got to that point yet, but they said when I'm ready, they'll start cutting it down gradually. I think it's like 5 mils every couple of weeks or some enough so I can, and so I'm comfortable anyway.
Yeah.
But this time I haven't gone up as high as I did the last time when I first went into the recovery center.
So when they say when you're ready,
at the end of the day, I did. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, I did have it in my head that I wasn't going to be on methadone forever, so I didn't want to keep going up because I knew one day it would have to come down anyway. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do they determine when you're ready? Do you determine that? Do they determine that? How is that decided?
Well, it's in my hands. So when I'm ready, yeah.
Okay. And now, do they provide?
Sorry, I'm just getting out of having to go out on the street to find money every day and then find the drugs every day. So this last year, that's what I've been doing. It's totally changing my life around to stop having, to get over that part of the hurdle. So that's sort of one step, and then the next steps, when I'm mentally ready, I'll be cutting it right down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's fantastic that this is allowing you to live, get your life back together and not have to sort of scrounge every day to get the money for drugs and do different things to get drugs. That's a big part of it, right? I mean, that a big part of it is, because addiction, I know that, back in my drinking days, it seemed like that became the preoccupation. Was your goal when you got up in the morning? Your goal was, well, when am I going to, like in my case, when am I going to be able to drink again, or in your case, be able to use heroin again? And that becomes the focus of life, doesn't it? I mean, that becomes what you do
it's
every
physical,
day. Yeah, and it's not because you even want to do it; you have to do it. That's what addiction is. You have to do it. And that just becomes that cycle of, that's what you do every single day. And that's part of the hell that you live in.
Yeah, the hell cycle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And now you mentioned that, one other thing though, you had mentioned to me previously that during this period, you had become suicidal, correct?
Yeah, when I was, that was before the addiction.
Before the addiction, okay.
That was yeah.
So when, so that was when you were very young when that happened?
Yeah, 16 and 17.
16 or 17 years old. So it sounds like maybe
17, yeah.
Okay, and then so you were having were these manic depressive type of episodes that you were having?
Yeah. Due to PMT, which I had to deal with the pain side of that as well. So it's all hand in hand, I think.
So when that happened, do you think that the heroin, because we talk about causes and conditions. I've talked about that in other podcasts. So we have the genetic component. You have the part where you become physiologically addicted to a substance, heroin in your case. But we talk about the causes, and the cause is we want to escape from whatever it is, whether it's pain, whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, those types of things, or a combination of both. Would you say that that's probably what was going on at the time when you finally led to what started your heroin addiction? Was in your case the physical pain, maybe even the emotional pain of all that? Is that pretty safe to say?
Yeah. By that time, I was on sort of self-destruct. I didn't really care about myself, so yeah, it was just anything to escape that reality, I think.
Kind of giving up hope.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and then you go into addiction, and then so you have all those years, and now here you are, and you've got the maintenance plan, which is, and then the idea here is that the idea of harm reduction, meaning we're going to sort of reduce the harm that you're doing to yourself, which is understandable. But I guess the thing that it sounds like Recovery Dundee is doing for you is now going to the next. Okay, so we've gotten to this point, but now what do we do? When do we get off of this wagon? When do we move on from even methadone and just being clean and living life? And would you say that Recovery Dundee is helping you along those lines in a way that you're not getting from the National Health Service?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's given me a reason to get up in the morning and go out and, help other people as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That have helped me. So,
so when you say getting up in the morning and it gives you a purpose, and what has Recovery Dundee for you to help you down that path?
Just being there emotionally when I need them. I can call Sharon whenever when I'm needing, and my mum could call Sharon if she thinks she's worried about me. So they're always there if I'm needing help.
Yeah. So really, just sort of that fellowship, that connectedness, and staying connected to other people, and then having that network, people that know you, where they know you're not doing well.
My mum, she's never been in that, so she knows that Sharon's been there, so she understands it more. So yeah, it's just somebody like-minded that's been there and done that and got out the other end. So
yeah, absolutely. And is that been a big help?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's how I'm managed to succeed at this time. So.
And did the NHS provide any of this at all? Any sort of service along this path? I mean, any fellowship, any group? Did they recommend any groups or counseling groups, support groups?
No, not at all. No, you just deal with them and that's it.
So there's no small
They've
group
got
counseling, no one-on-one counseling at all.
No, they have a psychologist. She's only at the centre twice a week, but I think it's a long line to see that one person. And to this day, I've never met her.
Oh, you've not even had one appointment with her?
No, not at all.
So if it wasn't for a group like Recovery Dundee, it sounds like you wouldn't be where you are right now. You would not have had the success. Do you credit a lot of the success of your recovery to Recovery Dundee?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, that is really encouraging to hear that, and I'm just very happy that you are where you are now, because it's you realize that when you get to this point, even with a lot of support, so many people don't make it in recovery. So many people don't get well because they don't want it. They don't have that willingness, right? They don't have the willingness to want to get well, because that all recovery starts with willingness. I can't make you sober. Nobody could have made me sober back in the day. It just could not have happened. Yeah. You need to want it, right? Mm-hmm. And I know you and I had discussed this before, and that was you decided you wanted to get well. And I think you had even mentioned to me that you did not believe that without that basic desire to get well, you're not going to get well, correct?
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. It's not going to work if you don't want it, yeah.
So if you were, and I know that a lot of people across Scotland are going to be listening to this, and particularly people in Dundee, what would you tell people that are listening to this, they're in your community right now, listening to you, and they're struggling the way that you have struggled? And I will say continue to struggle, because addiction is something that we do. Even when you get into long-term recovery, you deal with it. You deal with that temptation and that desire. So if you were to have a platform to talk to people in your country and on the street or anywhere around the world for that matter, what would you say to them? What would you say to people? How would you encourage people to get well?
Just that it's never too late to turn your whole life around and get out of the health cycle that you've been in. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and you could do it, because if I could do it, anybody else could do it. So,
I love that. I love that phrase. That if you can do it, anybody can do it, because that I feel the same way about it. And that's the title of this podcast is Recovery is Possible, because it is possible. And how do we know it's possible? Because other people have done it in front of us. Mm-hmm. So if there's somebody out there on the streets right now struggling with a heroin addiction like you did and still do, what would you say to them? And when I say still do, because the addiction does not go away. It's always there waiting to jump and pounce on us. What would somebody sitting there right now in despair, what would Eilidh say to them? What should they do right now?
Just, you can come to the cafe, come to Recovery Dundee. You can you can go into recovery any day. You could.
Sometimes it's planting the seeds, isn't it? Sometimes it's just having that basic conversation with people. And when you say come to the cafe, so if I'm in Dundee and come to the cafe, where are you guys located? Where is the cafe?
Beans and Berries on Commercial Street.
Beans and Berries on Commercial Street. And so even if, sometimes recovery is just, it's a process, right? It's not like you don't come in and one day, boom, you're now I have known people, God bless them, have gone to one AA meeting and never had a drink or a drug since. I think it's kind of rare. It does happen, but I don't think I think it's more common to have like my experience and your experience where it happens. You go to meetings, because I know in my case, I went to AA meetings for years before I ever got sober. And so even if you're somebody in Dundee and you were able to get to Beans and Berries, if you're able to get there, and even if you're still using, Go meet the people, meet people like Eilidh, meet people like Sharon, meet all the other people that are there, and start that conversation and start planting those seeds in your mind, because somewhere in your life, Eilidh, right? Somewhere in your life, there were seeds that were planted, and your sobriety didn't happen right away. It took time, but there were seeds that were planted, right? And you could see other people getting well and other people doing things. And maybe those seeds will be planted at the cafe where you guys meet. When do you guys meet?
Monday nights and Wednesdays during the day at 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock on Monday.
6 o'clock on Mondays and then 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. The group is there. So anybody out there in Dundee that's listening today, you can meet those people, meet Eilidh, meet Sharon and others that are there, and start having that conversation about getting well. And what kinds of activities do you guys do while you're there?
Well, we go to the gym, just support for each other. Like if somebody's having a down day, there's a open mic night there as well. Well, when the lockdowns are over. It's just supporting each other, can support each other. If somebody's having a bad day, somebody can help them because somebody else has been there. So.
Yeah, I would imagine the lockdowns are having a big effect on that. And, so at this point, you're still on methadone now, correct?
Yeah.
And that's part of the whole system that the NH has. Do you have a plan right now, or are you going to be working on getting a plan to come off of methadone? Where are we going to go from here?
Well, the last year it has been sort of a crutch, so I didn't have to even think about going backwards. So I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. So, well, yeah, like I'm going to the gym every day, so it's in process. I will be ready sooner, but yeah, I'll get there. It's just putting that in process and getting the right headspace. So,
but it seems like that really the help and the encouragement to be able to do that and to maintain that tapering process is the support is more coming through a group like Recovery Dundee more than the NHS.
Yeah, definitely. You only get one appointment every other. Well, mine's once a month, but sometimes there could be less appointments than that. So I don't think they're really there to support you at all. No.
Yeah.
But Recovery Dundee is. Yeah.
So that's another plug for Recovery Dundee, because I know, going through that process myself, that if there was ever a time that you needed to have that support mechanism and people around you helping you and encouraging you, it's during that whole taper process, where you're really, really fighting it, until your body and your brain changes. Oh, and speaking of which, so I know you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, and that is like the whole process that your body is going through. In recovery, for those that are listening that aren't aware of this, 100% of all people that come into recovery, everybody is malnourished when they come in. Whether you're using heroin, whether you're using cocaine, alcohol, all the above, or maybe a mixture of all those drugs, it does a lot of damage to your body. And there's no one that's using any substance of any kind addictively that has nutrition that is adequate for their bodies. With alcohol, I've talked about this in a previous podcast. With alcohol, the vitamins B1, 3, 6, and 12, serotonin levels are low, GABA levels are low. All these things are low. But that's also true with heroin. Plus, it's very common for heroin addicts, and I think yourself included, was to not eat properly. So there's a lot of part of the struggle in early recovery, particularly that first year, because once you completely get off of methadone, you're going to find it's still going to be a real struggle for at least that first year, because your body has to heal. So going to the gym, working out, that's great. you want to do that. You improve your health, but then diet is a big part of that. And vitamins are important too, because you're deficient in so many things. And when you're deficient, you have that desire to go back to your drug of choice. And I remember you telling me that there are some things that you were doing that have proven to be helpful. And you've already noticed some differences. Can you talk a little bit about that? What are you doing besides going to the gym, what are you doing for your health?
Well, I've been taking the vitamin B12 injections every day and the supplements, magnesium, taurine, folic acid, and vitamin D3. I see massive difference in myself, health-wise and mentally.
More energy? You have a lot more energy?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Even like 9 months ago, I wouldn't have seen myself go to the gym every day, even have the energy to do that. But I have,
Oh, that's fantastic.
Come back. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's because all the vitamins are depleted out of your body, and the serotonin level, and then sleep. Getting proper sleep. So we want to exercise and sleeping through the night and getting the. Now I know and Sharon knows that I'm a bit of a hypocrite about that because Sharon she'll write to me and it will be 3 a.m. here in the United States and I'm responding. So I'm a work in progress too. So I know sleep is important, but I also know that I don't even practice that myself. I get that, but we want to strive to do that in early recovery in particular, because there's a lot of healing of your body that takes place when you're sleeping through the night. And so regulating your sleep is important too. Right. And then not just the supplements, taking the supplements, but getting a balanced diet, fruits and vegetables and, getting that into your body and really repairing all the damage that we've done over the years. And as you just mentioned, you already feel a big difference, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally massive difference. Yeah.
So, but I just really love the fact that Recovery Dundee is there for you, and it's there for the rest of the people in the community of Dundee, because Dundee has a problem, doesn't it? You guys have the unenviable distinction of being what I read is the drug death capital of Europe. That's what I read.
Yeah,
and
it's capital of everything. Yeah,
it's a big problem there, and there's no reason for that. And particularly a city that's as beautiful as Dundee, a great country like Scotland, to have this kind of a problem. But I know, and it is a problem that has a solution. And again, for the listeners today, there is a solution, and you're moving towards that solution. And just again, tell our listeners, what is it that you would ask people to do today that are listening, that are struggling with addiction of any sort? What would you want them to do?
Look for help. Yeah. Yeah, but you can look for help for Recovery Dundee on Facebook, Twitter, online. Yeah, no, you need to actually look for that help, and you will find it,
So Facebook, Twitter, do you guys is there a website also, or you just on Facebook? No. Okay, Facebook and Twitter, then that's Recovery Dundee. And so it sounds like, your life has gotten, and even in this short amount of time, your life has gotten a lot better, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Man, that's fantastic.
Miles better, yeah.
So recovery's been a good thing. I think you're another example of a person that I've never heard somebody get into recovery and get well and say, you know what? Now that I think about it, my life was better when I was using. I think I'll go back. I've never heard that from anybody.
No.
A lot of people go back because of the addiction is a disease of the brain. It's a disease of the body, and it's a disease of the brain. And it is a disease that keeps telling you to go back to the very things that destroy you. So it is a disease in that regard.
Triggers all over the place.
Oh,
there's always triggers, but you just got to try and deal with that and find a way to handle it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And we're always dealing with those triggers, but early on, you have to be very, very careful with that. But life has gotten better. And so anybody that's out there, your life will get better too if you reach out and get the help. But like Eilidh said, you got to want, first of all, I need to make that first decision. Right. And so I'm not necessarily promoting 12-step programs. I am a 12-step program person myself, but I think what you're saying kind of relates to step one of AA, which is I'm powerless over alcohol. My life has become unmanageable. Now we can replace alcohol with heroin, cocaine, sex, gambling, anything else. I'm powerless over this, and my life has become unmanageable. And if you're listening today and you're at that point and you realize your powerlessness and the unmanageability of your life, understand it does not have to stay that way. You can get better. There are people that will help you. And in Dundee, Scotland, there is a group of people that will help you too if you just reach out. Now, even if you're not ready to get well, reach out, talk to these people, visit with them, because you then can at least start engaging in those conversations and planting those seeds that can be watered over time to help you get better. And maybe, just maybe someday, and you never know, maybe the desire to get fully clean and sober will creep up and grab you like it has us and it has with Eilidh. And so Eilidh, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you. It's brave, very brave of you to get out and talk about your story. And you never know who's going to be listening to your story and who it's going to help. Because there's somebody out there listening right now that listens to your story and says, that lady is speaking to me. She's speaking to me right now, and I want what she has. So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you. It wasn't as sore as I thought it'd be.
I told you not to be nervous. And so I'm just going to wrap up here. And like I say, I don't represent any group. I do mention 12-step groups there, but I don't represent 12-step groups. I'm just telling you what I utilize for my own recovery and wellness. So I don't represent anyone other than myself. I don't represent Recovery Dundee. We're just talking about them today and offering that as a resource to you. And you can visit them if you'd like to on Facebook or on Twitter, and that's Recovery Dundee. My only purpose is in giving this information is to share with you what I've done, because it's helped me and maybe it's going to help you as well. I know there's somebody out there listening today that can relate to Eilidh's story. And I just hope and pray that you will reach out to get the help today if you can get it. So if I've said something or Eilidh has said something to you that you don't agree with, then just discard it. Just try to use something that you can if it's useful to you. And that's what we do in recovery is we help ourselves along the way, and we try to impart our knowledge to help others. So with that, please visit my Facebook page, which is Recovery is Possible, or my website, which is vanmeterwellnesssolutions.com. Let me know how we're doing and what we can do to help you. And if there's a topic that you're interested in, maybe we can talk about it. So take care, and I will see you guys next time.